Today I want to be telling you about the 60-30-10 rule that exists within web design and my recent experience of it. Now, historically, I have heard of this term or this way of designing with colors through web design and UX before, but I never really paid it too much attention, nor did I implement it into my designs. So I'm going to be telling you about this rule and how it applies to web design, but I'm also going to be sharing with you how this rule alone managed to transform some of my older designs. Honestly, the results I thought were pretty impressive, and I'm sure you will agree. Now, before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And let me know down in the comments whether you have implemented the 60-30-10 rule within any of your websites yet. All right, so here we are in Adobe XD. Now, you might be a bit thrown off by why there is a picture of interior design or a room, and that is because this 60-30-10 rule actually first originated within interior design. So it's used to create color balance within a room. So it's no wonder that sort of principle and that psychology easily transfers over to website design. I'm going to show you shortly how this works. So first of all, if we look at this image, you can see that we've got 60% of a dark, what looks like a brown color, and that's on the walls, and then we've got 30% of the yellow, which is the curtains in the unit here, and then we have a third color, which is the white. Now, there is a method to this madness and how that transfers over to website design, and I'll show you in a sec. But if we come down, we've got another example here of interior design where we've got 60% of this neutral white at the top, we've got the gray, which is the bed, and then we've got the pink, which is here, and this pink is the color that stands out the most, and that's why it's really aesthetically pleasing. Now, the principle sort of suggests that 60% of the color palette should be a neutral color, so a plain neutral color. This doesn't have to be white, it could be a soft gray, soft tones, it could even be a dark color as well. And then we have 30% of your main color. And then we've got 10% of an accent color. Okay, and this is designed to allow things to stand out and create contrast. It's where your attention then becomes drawn. You know, if we look at this picture, our attention is drawn to the pink throw that's on the bed. All right, so now that you know how the 60-30-10 rule applies to interior design and you understand how it works, I'm going to show you what happens when I took some designs that we have done and applied this 60-30-10 rule to it and how it managed to transform it, I have to say, for the best. All right, so let's go. So here we have an example of a web design. And if you scroll through, you can see that there is a lot going on with regards to colors. Okay, and as a result, you can see that maybe questionably it could be considered relatively messy. I mean, it was tricky because the brand had a lot of colors from the branding guidelines that we wanted to introduce into the color palette, and trying to shoehorn all of these things, it didn't really work. So this is why I think it's a really good candidate for this 60-30-10 rule. Okay, now if we go over to the right, you can see that we have applied three colors here. So we've got 60% of our neutral color, we've got 30% of our main color or brand color, and then we have a 10% of accent color. Now, as you scroll through, you'll see how these colors are applied. And we've completely stripped back the amount of colors that are used. And if we just scroll down, you can see how much nicer this is. So we've removed all the pink and we've kept that neutral 60% color throughout. We've got our 10% color on our call to actions and things that we want to make pop and stand out a little bit more. And if we come down a little bit further, we've got this main brand color of the pink on areas that, again, we want to call out. Now, you might be thinking, why have we still got this pink in here? Now, the reason for that is it's a visual asset, part of the brand guidelines, and it works as an image similar to the photography. Now, it can get quite complicated to fit the photography into this 60-30-10 rule because photographs have many different colors. Okay, so I'd say exceptions to the rule, don't worry about photography, just go with your color palette with regards to the website composition and the design that you're putting together. And if we scroll down, you can see that this is just a much nicer design. We've changed the footer from what was previously a gray to that 30% main brand color pink. And if we compare these two side by side, you know, you can really see the difference between them. You know, this has a lot going on. Although it works, I think it works a lot better when you have this rule applied. It's just a lot neater, it's a lot tidier. I think it's really positively impacted this individual design. Okay, now I've got another example of one of our designs that we did. If we scroll down, you can see that things are relatively fairly neutral. We've got a lot of white space. There's not too many colors that are being used in here, but still we were able to apply this 60-30-10 rule to this design. So if we come up and move over here, we've got 60% of our neutral color. We've got 30% of our main brand color, and then we've got an accent color here as well. So scrolling down, a lot of the white space is this 60% color. And then we've got the brand main color, which is the 30%, and you can see that scattered throughout. So we've got it here, we've got it here, and we have also now got it here. Okay, where previously this was black, it was introducing another color. We've turned it to that main brand color. And then all of our call to actions is the 10% accent color that we've used within the buttons. We've also used it here on this block because we wanted to draw attention to the lifetime guarantee in this example. So as you can see, if we compare these side by side, there's not an awful lot of difference between them, but ultimately the principle still works the same. And you can see that we also tidied this section up here, making sure that there was no overlap. And yeah, it works really, really well. Okay, so you can see how it has positively impacted previous designs. Just by taking this real simple principle, we're able to make really stunning, visually pleasing, easy on the eye designs, which is what any designer really wants to do. So shamefully, I should have done this in the first place, but because I haven't taken the time to really invest in understanding this rule and how it applies to web design, I certainly will be moving forward. So before we sign off, I just want to show you some more examples of ways that this principle works within website design inspiration I found on the internet, and maybe a few different ways that this rule has been broken and exceptions to this rule, but still really, really works. All right, so moving over, I've visited Dribbble and I just wanted to grab a couple of UIs and website designs which basically enforce this principle. And as I said, kind of breaks that convention as well, but it still works. So this example that we've got here, white is still our neutral color of choice. A lot of this is still white, there's a lot of white space, but our brand color in this instance, I think definitely has two different colors. And the reason for that is it has a gradient here in the hero section, which I would say is their brand color. We've got green here, we've got black here. So they're making use of two colors, and they're two dark shades, which is why I think this works really, really well. If these were contrasting colors, I don't think it would work too well, and that's when it starts to become messy. And then we've got our 10% accent colors, and again we've got two here. Now the yellow is actually used on their call to action, which you could argue is their main 10% color, but they've also introduced this lime green, which I don't feel is necessary. Again, it works, but there's no reason why they couldn't have made this the main color, so bringing that into the dark green or even the black, and then just keeping the yellow and making this shape here yellow as well. But again, it works. As I said, these are kind of exceptions to the rule, which I still feel looks really visually pleasing. Another example here is slightly different. We have no longer used white for the main neutral color. The neutral color here is blue, okay, and actually white is almost like our main brand color. All right, but this still works really, really well. You can see up in our hero, we've got this blue, and we've got blue over here. And then the 10% accent is the lime green, which you can see here, and here, which works really, really nicely in my opinion. Now, you could argue this obviously isn't the full design, and this might all be white underneath for all I know, but there's no reason why they couldn't carry out this blue. I think it could work really, really well. So you can see that there are exceptions to the rule. The neutral color doesn't always have to be a white or a gray or a soft color. You can implement a fairly bright color and then carry that throughout, as long as it contains 60% of the color palette and you have nice colors that balance well with it. There's no reason why that wouldn't work. And then finally, we've got PayPal. Now I wanted to use PayPal because it's a real example that exists online that essentially encompasses this 60-30-10 rule, again with an exemption on the accent color, which I'll explain in a sec. Now 60% of this is white, a lot of this is white. Now the brand color or the main color is not only in the logo and the call to action in this instance, but also the text. Okay, so that's really interesting. They've kind of kept their color palette really quite minimal. And then the accent colors here, despite not being used on the buttons, we've got two introductory colors here. Introductory colors? just two colors that have been introduced to this design. So yeah, that's my experience with the 60-30-10 rule, and I love it, and I'm going to continue using this through future designs. So there you go. Hopefully you can see the value of implementing this 60-30-10 rule into your websites moving forward. I was completely blown away about how impressive this rule is and what impact it has on websites, not only on my existing websites, but websites that already exist across the internet. So if you found this valuable, please do give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Also remember to hit that subscribe button, and there is the end screen appearing any minute now, which has more content which I know you'll find valuable too. So that's it from me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.